and it was a great show. There was amazing fights. Yeah, Arunas who did he fought? Lucas Klinger, um, on the main card was one of the like really good fights of the night, and truly enjoyed watching it. And so I'm really happy to be able to talk to him today and ask him questions about it, since it's also fairly recent. It's going to be great having his point of view and see what he has to say about it. Just waiting for him to join us. I'm just waiting for him to come and join us so I can invite him to the live stream. Should be with us any moment now. You know how it goes. It's always like a thing to get set up until we manage to to come through. Oh, hold on. It's almost like, okay, here we go. Okay, I just invited him. We should be able to talk to him any moment now. Here we go. Hi, Arunas, can you hear me?
Yeah, let me just put the sound up. There we are. Hey.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. Recovering.
I see that you have the sunglasses on.
Yeah, it's a bit.
Do you mind showing up underneath? Is it?
Yeah, there's no need. I can show it. It looks, doesn't look very attractive, so.
So,
just fine.
2 days after your fight.
Sorry?
I said, how are you feeling today, 2 days after your fight?
I'm good. Excited. Yeah, excited. It's all gone now. There's a big preparation, and there's obviously had a really big fight on my hands as well. Lucas was really tough. Probably tougher than I expected. Obviously, I was expecting to to stop him, knock him out with a knee, and then I was landing like clean shots as well, and yeah, he just wouldn't stop. So it was a really hard work. Well, I'm good. Other than my sore fist and then the little cut on the face. I'm good. Back to training.
Did you go party after your win?
Of course, I have to. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like it definitely felt like like I deserved the party. Some of the fights, if I usually I tend to finish fights really quickly, so sometimes you don't even really break a sweat if it's like with the first round, first few seconds, first couple of minutes, boom, boom, and it's done. This one, just felt really, really deserved. So yeah. Had a good night out.
That's great to hear, and congratulations again on your win. What I want to ask you as well is, so yeah, it's like you said, it's you look quite composed, to be honest, during your whole fight, because in the first one, and I saw you were getting caught against the cage, and you had your underhooks in, you were defending any potential like takedowns, and you look really composed throughout the 3 rounds. So I want to ask you, what goes like through your head, during the cage, or during the fight when you're in the cage, or the moments before a fight? How do you what goes through your mind?
Yeah, well, it's just put it this way, just pure mathematics, because you know what's your opponent gonna be like, so you study each other. So from limited so the video or videos and fight record available, obviously you kind of you always sort of ascertain what your opponent's going to do, whether he's going to strike or he's going to try to take you down. And we knew Lucas has a really good had a really good jiu-jitsu, and pretty much I knew he's not going to want to stand and trade with me, which actually he did, but then he still he still tried to take me down, because that was his plan, and it was pretty obvious from the first round. As you know, as I spent most of the time on my back. Yeah, it wasn't great. It was like, you know, it was just kind of like, you know, needed the time, like, you know, to get started. But then even being on the cage, you know, you just think through, you know, through all the drills you've done, and just, you know, just not to make any mistakes, you know, just try to be, you know, reactive. Obviously, ideally, you know, try to turn him away, break, and carry on striking instead of him, you know, smothering my work. So he was executing his plan. My plan in that sort of defensive situation was, number one thing is not to be taken down. Number two was obviously to spin and then just, you know, push off and just carry on throwing bombs. So yeah, that's composition wise. Yeah, I think I'm pretty calm in the fight. So it's just, you know, it's all, you know, just thinking, you know, what you have to do. At the same time, you know, you're learning, you're studying your opponent, you're analyzing him. And I think, you know, that's any good fighter, any experienced fighter does it. So, you know, you analyze your opponent, and then, you know, you just you try to adjust at the same time, yeah, just obviously beat him up.
And so do you watch your fights after? Do you watch your fight videos, and have you watched the fight from Friday?
Some of them, I mean, some of them I do. I mean, ideally, if they're there available, yeah, I try to watch them. It's always, you know, it's, number one, like, you know, no matter how well you do, it's always interesting to see yourself from the side, how well you've done. You know, number two, it's, you know, you want to see mistakes you've done, you want to see good things you've done, you improved, and as I say, you know, like you take, you know, each individual fight is just, it's almost like a little milestone. You know, if you're in your training, in your, you know, development as a fighter.
Yeah.
So every time, so, you know, it's almost like taking exams. So you can draw a comparison with being at school. You go to classes every day or to university, and then you have exam or test, and then the test or exam is a fight. So, you know, you see what you actually learned, what have you done, you know, what you remember, what, you know, where you improved, and so on and so on. So it's yeah, it's always interesting to watch your fights, and then again, like, you know, note the mistakes, know the good things as well, know the bad things, and then yeah, just draw conclusions and back to the drawing board.
Yes. Yeah, so have you had a chance to have a look at the video from Celtic Gladiator?
From last night? Yeah, I did it straight the same night, because Celtic Gladiator was streaming it live on Facebook, and afterwards it was available straight away. So I think yeah, just before going partying, I just did one last thing. I had to sit down, watch my fight, quick recap, had a little chat with myself. Okay, this and that, just, you know, a few rewinds, just double check a few things, and then yeah. Watch it straight away. I mean, I watched it obviously, like, you know, 10 times since.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Listen, we have a few questions from the audience. I'm just going to read them out to you. Wait, I'll scroll back to make sure I get everyone's question. Someone Kurt is asking, who is your next fight? Do you know that already?
No idea. There's not many like light heavyweights in London, in UK, or in Europe. I don't know. I don't want to sound like too cocky and too arrogant. There's a few really good guys, but then there aren't many. You know, there aren't many fighters actually, you know, sort of very forthcoming. So the answer is, I don't know. I'm obviously going to take some time off.
Yeah.
You know, it's back to training, and you know, I'm not in rush. So we'll see. The short answer is no. I have no idea who I'm fighting next. I'm willing. You know, I'm open to the offers. So bring it on.
Another question. Hold on, because it's regarding kind of the same. It goes into the same direction. Tom Heffernan is asking, what promotion do you think makes sense for you? You know, to take your next step in your career, like Bama or Cage Warrior, or, you know, like
UFC.
any.
Obviously, it's like, you know, there's nothing wrong with the smaller promotions, but then, you know, if you UFC is like still, like, you know, it's miles apart from everyone else. So any other fighter, well, let's say, you know, the huge majority of the fighters, I think they would want to be in UFC, except for those who are doing really well in Bellator, let's say. But then, yeah, I think that you know, everyone wants to head to UFC because it still has the most exposure. You get the most exposure as a fighter. You have you know, the best quality of, you know, opposition there, and all the names to fight, and then obviously the best opportunities.
Yeah. Asking, do you tutor people for law degrees? Heard you also a solicitor?
Sorry? Oh, am I a solicitor? Yeah, I am a solicitor. I'm a commercial litigation solicitor. I work in the City of London. So it's basically like fighting. I keep saying the same, like on and on to people. It's just different way of, you know, solving conflict. So, you know, one of them is, you know, using fists. And the other one's using, you know, a lot of the time just, you know, like sort of RC correspondence, or, you know, just just fighting people on paper, fighting people in the cage. So it's kind of the same thing, as long as you're not sort of, you know, mixing two up. So
yeah. And how can you tell me a bit about your training? You know, how do you know, what is your training on an everyday basis, and as you get closer to competition, how does it change? You know.
Well, it's very individual. So the training is, you know, it's individual to each opponent. Obviously, you have to adjust them. You know, you know, and for certain opponents, you're going to be, you know, doing more striking drills. For other opponents, you're going to be doing a lot of wrestling or defensive wrestling. You know, and then a lot of people know me before, you know, before I joined London Shoot. It's like, you know, I didn't really have any wrestling background. I had a bit of jiu-jitsu, but then, you know, I was so easily swept off my feet. And then I had to improve that element. So obviously I've been wrestling since, and obviously every fighter still will try to take me down because, you know, I'm a good striker. And, you know they know I'm coming from Thai boxing and K1 background as well. So it's you know, it's easier work for them. It's just, you know, sweep me off my feet, try to submit me, or just punch me in the face on the floor. So obviously a big part of my game is, you know, is defensive wrestling, offensive wrestling as well. As you saw in my last fight, I actually managed to take my opponent down. Second time in my professional career, like 11 years or so. Other than that, training is like, it's pretty normal. You know, you just make mixture of weights for strength and conditioning. You do circuit exercises. You do loads of cardio, because I do cut a lot of weight. So for me, it's, you know, the cardio. I started, you know, just like long cardio rounds, just to burn that fat. And obviously sparring, you just try to spar as many different people as you can. Grappling, wrestling, just everything, all around. It's, you know, it's just like MMA. MMA is just like all round sport now. So it's like, you know, everyone I think do their own thing. You know, no one like does anything like super different.
Yeah.
Maybe they do. I don't know. Someone can hit me up with some suggestions.
Well, it's out there now.
Okay.
And you're originally from Lithuania, right?
Yeah.
So have you also trained in Lithuania? Have you also fought there, or have you only been competing?
Yeah, I mean, I started actually training in Lithuania. I did ninjutsu. I did self-defense for years and years since I was a kid, and then I think that really developed my sort of strong character, because we used to go to these sort of quasi-military summer camps. So we spent the whole summer living in the tents. Eating once a day like Spartans, going for like grueling training, which was, you know, like mixture of you know, fighting with weapons and bare hands and striking and so on. It's like a lot of survival skills, but that just really toughens your character. So then, you know, you know, that's very sort of transferable skill. So whatever you put sort of, you know, in the face of adversity, you can adjust. Whether, you know, you're in the wilderness by yourself, or, you know, or you're in a cage by yourself, by, you know, being attacked by some beast. And, you know, just keep it calm, keep it cool, get the plan together, try to execute it, try to come alive. So I started with that. Then eventually I wanted to compete. I started doing Thai boxing classes. I had my first Thai boxing fight in Lithuania. I won it. I did it quite well, so I got hooked on it. And then came over here to UK, which was about 13 years ago now, and I just started training at the Storm Gym in Luton. And the rest is history. Just, you know, just carried on training, carried on fighting. MMA was obviously natural progression, because I always wanted to do that. I had one fight in Lithuania, one MMA fight. It didn't go too well. It was a TKO stoppage. I don't think it should have been stopped, because I had a scratch from gloves Velcro thing. But then, you know, you can't really argue. Had underneath my eye, so there's, you know, non-obstructive vision and so on. The referee stopped the fight. I think it was way too early, but then, you know, there's nothing you can do. So it's shit happens. Other than that, never fought in Lithuania otherwise. So it's usually somewhere around Europe, or mainly the UK.
And so I'm just going through the other comments. Someone asking, any new moves you're gonna use in the next fight?
New moves in the next fight. I don't know. It depends. It depends on the opponent. As I say, like I'll have to study my opponent first, and then if we're gonna develop some new moves, we're probably gonna use them. I mean, takedowns, like taking people down for me is fairly new move. So I kind of use a new move this time. Yeah, possibly. I mean, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna say exactly what I'm training and so on, so on. No one shows their hand, but possibly. Tune in.
Yeah.
Keep you guessing.
Yeah. So you're not going to pull a mousetrap. Did you watch the UFC 2016 Johnson Demetrius armbar? Have you seen that one?
You might be surprised. You might be surprised. You never know what's happening. At London shoot fighters, you never know what's happening behind the closed doors while we're training.
Okay.
Magic.
Damn. I mean, and there was another fighter from Shoot Fighter that evening. Is that right? Like on the.
Yeah. My wrestling coach, Andrew Tokci, he fought. It was his pro debut.
Yeah.
He fought this crazy opponent. Andrew did really well. He had the second round stoppage. I think so. Second round stoppage.
Third round.
Yeah, he was dominating the guy, but the guy was resilient. Andrew did really well.
Yeah.
Executing his plan.
Yeah.
Choked the guy. Few submission attempts, elbows.
Yeah.
It was nice watching it.
It was a great fight. Yeah, that's true. I must say, and both of you and Andrew, you look very composed. Is that part of the London shoot fight? Is that something that you learn? Because you look both so composed and so calm and really very focused. And you never, lose your temper, because you see some fighters sometimes, who can get frustrated, when it doesn't really necessarily go how you imagine. And both of you looked very calm throughout the rounds. No matter how far was going to go, you both seem to stay very focused on your goal.
It's because we're Eastern European and we just stay level head all the time. No, it's I think it's one thing. It's maybe it's a similar mentality. The other thing is it's the training you put in. You try to replicate the fight when you train. So we do at London Shoot, and then we do numerous rounds of like sparring. I wouldn't lie if we did hundreds, probably thousands of rounds of sparring in preparation for the fight, especially if it's early days where you just do rounds after rounds, day in, day out, and then just go through that. So a lot of other gyms, they train a lot of fighters, they don't really they don't like getting punched in the face with full contact during a training. But then when it comes to the fight, you're a bit like hesitant, you're a bit scared because you're just not used to that. And once you're doing that thing, day in, day out, you come into the fight, you're like, okay, I suppose there's slightly more people watching me now. There's a light, there's a referee, but then everything else is exactly the same. So it just feels so familiar. You drill real life situations, and then I think that perfectly replicates it in the cage.
Someone asking, who would you want to fight next?
Oh, we already asked. I mean, anyone really. I mean, it's usually up to up to the management, my coaches. But as I say, I'm open to suggestions. Bring it on.
James Anthony is saying, do you ever get mistaken for Tom Cruise?
Sorry?
James Anthony asks, do you ever get mistaken for Tom Cruise?
For Tom Cruise? Well, I mean, no, and because he's short, right? I get usually mistaken for Heath Ledger. I mean, but it's kind of not complimented. He's sort of dead now. But I mean, I suppose Tom Cruise is still a good-looking guy, so I'll take that. That's the case. But no, the answer is no. This is the first time I heard it. Hang on a second. I just need to plug my phone in because it's dying.
No worries. Go ahead.
Just 1 second.
Comments here, a few questions from the audience. I'll ask you once you've plugged your phone in, because I don't want you to
Sorry?
Interview.
Yeah, I'm here.
You back? Great.
Yep. I think so. Hang on a second.
No worries.
I think so. I don't know. Well, let's just go with it.
Let's just hope for the best. Steve Briggs is asking, is Dave O'Donnell as crazy in real life as his videos?
Yeah, he's the guy's a legend. The guy, the guy is this full of life. He's like super energetic. When it's he's really good at what he's doing. He's a showman. He's a showman. He's a promoter, and yeah, he's got a huge personality.
Sean Curtis is asking, would you train upcomers?
Upcomers? Probably no. I don't really train, and the reason for that, because I think I don't feel like I know enough to train. There's just so much I have to learn myself. Number one, I wouldn't time wise, I wouldn't be able to find any time. It's either I have to train someone or train myself, and I just rather train myself because I really like food, so I just need to stay in shape somehow. Otherwise, I don't know, like training, my heart is not really into training. Mainly at this stage in the life, it's, mainly because I have like so much to learn. Like, it's just having a day job as well, limits the amount of time I can actually come to the gym. And a lot of times they would probably cut it by by half of it at least, if not 2/3. So there's the guys in the gym, the whole pro team, they training twice, 3 times a day. I'm lucky if I can do 5 days a week, once a week, and so on and so on. So it's very limited amount of time I have, and just rather invest it in myself at this time while I'm actively fighting.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Sorry.
I think those are some of your teammates commenting here. Norbert Noveni and Hammer Felix.
Oh, what's happening, guys?
Hold on, where? So Hammer Felix is asking,
yeah,
would you rather be a bear or a dog?
Would I rather be a bear or a dog? I don't know. A bear?
A bear?
A bear? It's just, it's just more sort of predatory, right? I'm guessing.
So we'll go with the bear.
We go with the bear. It's like, brilliant question, Felix. It's like, really? Really, Felix?
Listen, James Anthony's asking, what or who inspired you to get into MMA?
Sorry? What?
What or who inspired you to get into MMA?
Oh, what inspired me to get into MMA? UFC #1 and UFC #2, which I had at my old gym, my old coach, back in Lithuania when I started training martial arts. We had loads of old VHS tapes, and we had old pirate recordings of UFC 1 and UFC 2, and then the first 2 events, when there was like a bare knuckle fight, there's only 2 guys go in, only 1 leaves, no rounds, headbutts, groin strikes, and so on, some hair pulling. So the moment I saw that fighting, it was just like, oh my god, it's just like, this is so pure. It's it's just everything goes, like, there's no rules, there's no limitations. And at that time as well, no one really did MMA, right? So it's everyone else is like coming from different backgrounds. So it's it was almost like, I don't know, like watching some sort of like a like a Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, where you have like different characters or different people coming with different disciplines with complete different styles, and just bring it to the cage and just literally try to figure out who's better, who's more effective, and so on and so on. So yeah, that was literally the first UFC tapes, and then I think a lot of the fighters, once they saw the the original UFC, the beginnings, that's also just became a life goal to actually get into it and compete in at least in MMA, if not in actual UFC.
Someone else is asking, who is your fighting hero? Myself.
I am the fighting hero. So I don't have a fighting hero. So it's it's certain fighters I might look up to, depending on the fight. They did something really, like something really well in the fight. They executed this or that move, really good. Or I might prefer one or the other thing. But I don't have like the MMA idol. It's I always see them, it's just as a competition. Although obviously there's so many weight divisions. Some of the guys is like, no, in a million years I'm not going to fight them. but it's competitions. Like I want to be in that place, I want to be in the limelight. I want to be, fighting in UFC or top shows in the world. So I don't really look up to them. I just look at them, as something, as an obstacle in the road.
Mm-hmm. Someone asking, who should Daniel Cormier fight next, in your opinion?
In my opinion, good question. I don't know who's on books. Alexander Gustafsson. I want Alex. I want Alex to fight Daniel.
Mm-hmm. Do you know him? Do you know him personally, or have you trained with him?
Yeah, I was like last year. Yeah, Alexander he invited me to train to Sweden in Stockholm with him and Jimmy Manua, and it's been a great week. It was amazing training, with guys of that level.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, like I had a chance to actually take a holiday. So for me, it was like full on training camp, like like full on fighter's life. So it was brilliant. It was a brilliant week. Obviously, learned a lot from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Going back to your fight, because I was actually there watching it. I noticed something is that you have a massive crowd. From the moment that you did the walk to the cage throughout the 3 rounds, I was just hearing people shouting your name, chanting for you. When you're in the cage, is that something that, do you realize that? Is that something that you notice, that you're aware of? And what does it give you, during the fight?
Not really. I don't know. It never really bothers me. It's always nice to, it's always nice to have a support. But, with that, with a bigger following, it always comes in, the responsibility and the pressure. You want to do well. You want to impress people. You don't want to let them down. They come in to support you, and so on and so on. But then saying that, it's the only sort of clear thing you hear when you're in a cage is is your corner's instructions.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing you're listening. Everything else is just a noise. At one point, I just recall now from the fight, I just heard the whole crowd chanting Lucas, just like supporting my opponent. That's the only thing I can recall. Otherwise, yeah, it's just my corners, my coaches, instructions nonstop, do this, do that, step by step. They obviously, people see it from the side, they have more experience, they have a brain, they have a control center. I'm just machine executing it in the middle. So I don't know, maybe just like selective hearing, but yeah, usually it doesn't really bothers me. It doesn't really, it doesn't motivate me. It doesn't, it doesn't affect me. Otherwise, it's there, but it's so secondary for me.
Okay.
While I'm in a fight.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was there, and I heard I was probably on the side where everybody was chanting your name, because it was literally going crazy, and I was just hearing your name being shouted everywhere throughout the
I had a lot of work colleagues coming in, so I was my firm Cubism Law. They're very kind. They're very kind to come out in big numbers to support me, and a lot of the people actually, it was like first time MMA event for them, so they were really impressed, and I think there's a lot of new MMA community just had much just received like a whole influx of new fans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So is your family aware of your fighting? Do they watch your fights in Lithuania, or are they?
Usually, yeah, they do. So hang on a second. Let me just check one thing, because I'm not sure if my phone is charging, so I just don't want to completely. It's plugged in my laptop, so I don't completely disappear. It should be charging right now. Okay. Sorry for that.
No worries.
I'm back. So my family, yes. Usually they do. This fight, well, it's just they didn't watch it. They forgot about it because it was on Friday, and I'm quite glad, obviously, because because it was long fight. It was really tough fight. It was bloody fight. Yeah. And then now my brother usually, my brother and his wife, they find the link or pay-per-view, they invite my mom over and they just watch it together. So that, like I know my mom's gonna be really nervous about it, so I just try kind of to shelter her from that. Mm-hmm. So I was really glad. I was the following day on Saturday, I received a phone call from her, and she had absolutely no idea. So I was kind of relieved. And obviously I just told her about the fight. I'm not gonna show her pictures or videos. But,
I was about to say, has she seen your face? I was about to ask.
No way. By the way, if anyone knows my mom, just make sure she doesn't see the pictures I just posted on Instagram or Facebook. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, that was a hell of a picture. It's literally just like bloody, yeah, like battle scars.
I mean, yeah, it was pretty gross. But you know, what
Oh,
can you do? It's, you know, we're
yeah,
not playing volleyball here.
yeah. That happened during the second round, wasn't it? That you got.
Second round, yes, that's
Yeah.
correct.
And so did you get stitches? Because it looked horrible. Like on the picture, it's just like,
Yeah, I had after the fight finished, I had 8 stitches. So I'm not sure if it's visible here. You
oh
can see
wow,
it.
yeah,
It's like, you know, little zigzag, little Harry Potter thing. But no, I mean, Lucas did a really good work on it. Keep punching it, and obviously when the fight didn't get stopped by the doctors, it continued.
yeah,
I knew he's gonna go for it, and then, you know, that's exactly the same I would do in a clinch. I would just try to, you know, to capitalize on that mistakes, you know, just on my mistake. I mean, getting caught and getting cut. So I knew he's gonna, you know, try to aim for it, like even in the clinch, because, you know, that's how it works. You rub it in, you split the scar, you increase the bleeding, and you win a fight.
yeah,
So, you know, obviously I was really aware of it, and then I was kind of trying to like hide, even if we're in a clinch, just like trying to keep my head close to his, you know, like you know, just so, you know, just to shelter the scar, and then just being aware of it, and then that's, you know, at any moment now the fight can be stopped. So it's kind of, you know, added a bit to everything else to think about.
yeah. And I know that you also you do some modeling jobs. Is that right?
I do. I do. I'm not sure how's that gonna go with my scar, but hopefully that's gonna heal nice, because
Yeah,
yeah, the A&E guys did a good job, I think. They're the fight doctors actually at the show at Celtic Gladiator. They did a pretty brilliant job. So thank for them. If I'll continue my modeling career, yeah, it's kind of, you know, it's a thing. It's more of a side gig. You know, it's every now and then I get an odd job, and then it's obviously fun to do, and, you know, it's obviously it's extra money. It's extra, some, you know, some sort of publicity or exposure.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, as long as someone, you know, appreciates my face to, you know, to represent the product or whatever, I'm happy to do it. So.
Peter Knox is asking, what do you think of Conor McGregor and his impact on MMA?
Conor McGregor and his impact on MMA,
Yeah,
massive. I mean, it's pretty obvious. It's like a lot of people, you know, put it this way: a lot of people don't even know what MMA is, but, you know, Conor McGregor, they just heard that guy, and then that, you know, that kind of brings, you know, brings their interest. You know, by noticing, you know, his name in a newspaper or on the internet, we can, you know, we can explore it, and then just, you know, dig deeper, and just, you know, start following MMA and so on and so on. So it's I mean, he's a superstar. He's, you know, he's as an athlete, he's probably one of the most famous athletes in the world now. You know, after the, you know, especially like past half a year, isn't it? When, you know, when the whole thing kicked off with Mayweather's fight. So.
James Hamilton is asking, what motivates you to get up off the couch every day and train?
Uh, like, you know, not wanting to get punched in the face. So, you know, every time, you know, every now and then you get a bit lazy with training and so on and so on. And as I say, you know, having other things going on in life. But then, you know, once you have a fight coming up, you know, you check your opponent out on the YouTube, on other, you know, like channels available, or, well, you know, Instagram, anywhere, and socials, you know. You were like, right, so this, you know, this guy's legit. This guy's gonna, you know, punch me in the face, and then, you know, how do I prevent it? You know, you know, I don't have to fight him. I can retire. B, I have to train and beat him up. So, you know, you just go with B. You go to the gym. You get the training plan. You get a program in order. You know, you listen to instructions, and, you know, just put a good plan together. And then, so yeah, it's, you know, one way or the other. It's just, you know, not wanting to get beaten up, and, you know, in front of loads of people.
Yeah. Someone from Greece is said, I can't read the name because it's like in crazy, you know.
Katerina Manikaki. Hey,
Yeah.
Katerina, what's up?
She's sending many regards from Greece. I hope you're okay.
I'm good, Katerina. I'm good, thank you.
Great.
Still fighting.
I have one last question for you, and then I guess I'm going to let you go so you can enjoy the rest of your evening. What would you, you know, looking back at your career so far, what would you define as, you know, one of the most remarkable moments, like proudest moments, anything, you know, that really comes into your head?
Fighting wise, career wise, well, it's usually the tough fights, you know. So it's this, my last fight, and that Celtic Gladiator with Lucas Klinger was probably by far, the toughest fight. One other I can compare it to my first ever MMA fight when I fought Tercio Santana, and which was like 15 minutes him sitting on top of me, just ground and pounding me, and just like raining down elbows. I'm punching him back, but he didn't do just enough to stop the fight. But then, but he just kept me on the floor, and then that was really tough, obviously, because it was just like 15 minutes beating. So that was really tough fight. This was, by far, like because I had a 3 years break as well in my fighting, and then this one's, in more recent times, it's definitely like the fighters, the toughest fight I had. So the the proudest moment is obviously to being able to pull it off and to win it. And then as I say, there's so many things sometimes go against you, and then it's just being able to adapt and being able to survive it, number one, to navigate it, and and then just put something together and just still come out on the top. So it's as I say, I didn't expect Lucas going to be like landing like so many clean shots on me, and then which he did. I mean, just like, and he wobbled me a few times as well. That obviously was like put me off a bit. And then when I was landing clean shots on him, he wouldn't stop. He would still keep edging forward. So again, I was just like, okay, well, I mean, it's how do I stop this guy? And then it worked out for me. I was doing well with takedown defense, breaking off him, and just just executing my plan, which is just striking it. Just could have just knock him out. So yeah, like the defining moment is of I think just taking step by step is each fight you win. And if the fight is like really tough, it's something you really feel like you deserved it. If it's, as I say, if it happens really quickly, you think, I don't know. It's like, did I really win this fight, or was it just a coincidence? Or it's just maybe my opponent made a mistake. What would happen if it had gone other way? And then this fight had had everything, had 15 minutes going on. I haven't been in like 15 minutes fight for like long time.
Yeah.
So it just yeah, it's like the toughest fights, I think, that usually like really makes you sort of proud of yourself, what you do.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. Is there anything you want to say? Is there anyone you want to thank, or give shout outs, or give people a chance to follow you on any social media?
Yeah, sure, guys. Follow me on Facebook or follow me on Instagram, which is @fight.arunas. Yeah, just for updates, or if it's just some general stuff which I post. Usually is all my face, involving my face, getting punched, or modeling and so on. In terms of saying thank you, obviously my teammates, my coaches, London Shoot Fighters, shoot. Without them, this obviously wouldn't be possible. I wouldn't be this that that I am now, fighting wise. So yeah, massive thank you for the time of my team, my coaches putting in the time, the sweat, the effort, and just putting up with my clumsiness throughout the training. So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys for being there.
All right, and I thank you again for taking the time, and great interview, and I wish you all the best for the future, for your career, model-wise, MMA-wise, whatever you do, good luck with everything, and yeah, I look forward to see your next fight, see where you're gonna head next.
I'll keep you posted, guys. Follow me.
All right. Thank you. Arunas, everyone. Bye-bye.
Anytime. Bye.
Bye.